What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Menace, and today we are coming in with a banger of a video, a true hoot and holler. Ladies and gentlemen, we are motherfucking back, okay? This is my favorite part of the day, ladies and gentlemen. This is my fucking favorite part when I get to sit down and talk with y'all, okay? Y'all are my favorite audience. It's small right now, but it'll grow. That's why we need those likes and those subscribes, man. The more that we get those, the larger this community can be. And I'm so down for that. I hope you guys are too. Let's grow the community. Ladies and gentlemen, what I want to be talking about today is the first time. I'm like 90% sure it's the first time, but the first time that I ever went to my high school while intoxicated off the marijuana. The Mary Jane, ladies and gentlemen. So let's jump right into the video. I don't want to waste anybody's time. So I gotta take you guys back to maybe October. I want to say like late September, early October, 2023. Okay. Fuck, was it 2024? I don't know. It might have been 2024, but whatever the fucking case may be. So I was sitting at my lunch table, right? And I don't know if it was like this at anybody else's school or high school or whatever, but we would always have these like kids. Like you had your like normal, lunch table, but then there would be like kids that like bounced around and they'd go all over the motherfucking place, like just stopping at different tables, seeing what's up, checking up with people, and these people were kind of cool, but one of these kids came up to our table, and for the sake of the video, we're just gonna call him Arthur. Okay, so Arthur walks up to the table. We're all chit chatting and shit, and he's like, "Yo, what's good?" And everybody's cordial. We're all like, "Yo, what's happening?" We all dap him up and shit. And he asks, he's like, "Yo, do any of you guys smoke?" And I raised my motherfucking hand because at this point I was getting high pretty much on the regular, right? I was smoking pretty much at night, at my dad's house and shit. So whatever the case may be, I'm like, "Yeah, I smoke." And he's like, "Okay, bet. Do you want to hit my cart?" Ladies and gentlemen, that is a game winning decision, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? That is when you either fucking go into it or you don't. And you're a bitch if you don't. So you're in a room full or a table full of fucking dudes, and you're gonna be like, "Nah, I'm chilling, I'm good." Nah, fuck that. You're like, "Yeah, I'm taking that shit." So he's like, "Okay, cool, come follow me to the bathroom." Now, I didn't know what the fuck was gonna happen in this bathroom, right? I was really hoping he wasn't going to show me his wiener. But whatever the case may be, we go right into the bathroom. And he's like, "Yo, here's my cart." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." He had this like little orange cart. It was like kind of small relatively. I've had some pretty large carts. This one was relatively small. Passes it to me, and I go into my stall, and I'm chilling, I'm vibing, and I take a puff, right? And I take a hit. Now, it's school, right? Not only is it school, but this is my first time ever smoking in school. I didn't know what the fuck it was going to be like. So I was like, "You know what? Nah, I'll be chilling. I'm gonna take like 3 seconds. 3 seconds off a cart, I'm gonna be fine. I'm used to my muhas. 3 seconds, I'm fine." Well, I hit this 3 seconder, and when I tell you that I blow out the world's fattest fucking cloud, ladies and gentlemen, this shit like filled up the whole stall, bro. It was like fucking radiating out of the top. Holy shit. So I put the cart back in my hand, walk out, hand it to Arthur. Arthur takes it, whatever. We walk back to the lunch table. Now, at this time, lunch was pretty much over, so we all threw our trays down, all the people who had hot lunch and shit. We all threw our trays down. We started heading to class. Now, I'm heading to class, and holy fucking shit. I am just out of it. Like, oh my God. Like, I was so fucking faded. And, like, I don't know if any of you guys experienced this, but I'm guessing y'all do, or did at least. When you get stoned, especially early on, and your eyes get like that bloodshot, it feels like you're wearing like a VR headset for like a really long time. Then you take it off, and your like face just right in that area is just hot. You get what I'm saying? So it was just like kind of like warm, like to the touch, And whatever the case may be, I was fucking stoned. I go back to my class. Now, my class was pretty chilling because we had kind of like a 3 lunch system. So it was one blocked off period that was like elongated, okay? And you would have A lunch, B lunch, and C lunch, okay? A lunch meant that you, after your third hour class, you went to fourth hour, where you went to lunch and then you went to fourth hour. C lunch, you would go all the way through fourth hour and then you'd get lunch. You were the last lunch. Me personally, I was in the B group, okay? So that meant that I went for 20 minutes in my first, like, the first half of fucking fourth hour, and then I'd go to lunch, and then I'd come back. You know what I mean? And so this was like the perfect fucking system for me, right? Because I would go to lunch, or I went to lunch, teacher had already seen me, he'd already taken roll call, I was already in conversations with people, it was a perfect fucking time. We leave, go to lunch, come back, finish our schoolwork, right? Well, I walked back to class, and in my class, I had a decent fucking group, ladies and gentlemen. We had this one, like, Indian nerdy girl, not really important to the story. She was super chillin'. Love her to death. We call her Sabrina in my videos. Fucking love her, okay? She's a great human being. Then we jump over and we have this other nerdy girl, but she's like that, like too hot for her own nerdiness. Does that make sense? Like, girl was in softball and she was into anime. Like, that doesn't fucking align, ladies and gentlemen. But whatever the case may be, and then sitting next to her, you had her, like, little boyfriend thing. It was like a really weird thing because nerdy softball girl was taken, okay? But she had, like, this very flirty sort of friendship sort of thing with this other baseball kid. It was really odd. It was really odd. And like in senior year, they showed me like an entire like notepad, and it was a extensive fucking notepad. And literally all it was like coupley shit that they did together. Like they went and had a picnic and like shit like that. You get what I'm saying? Like coupley shit, not like had sex. Like that's not like something that was on their list, but it was like pretty fucking on the nose. You feel me? But the issue was softball girl was taken. I'm not into the drama or the shit talk, but ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what the fuck was happening there. And then sitting to my right, we had this girl who, for the sake of the video, we're gonna call her Zebra, okay? And me and Zebra were chilling, okay? Zebra was a very, very, very quiet girl, okay? She would like come to school, put her AirPods in, didn't talk to anybody, and then she'd get to fourth hour and I was like there. You know what I mean? I was so chilling with Zebra, dude. Me and her I just made her laugh. I was a very funny man. And not trying to like gloat or brag or anything, but I was kind of funny. So like me and her were always chilling, She actually like I felt like she enjoyed coming to fourth hour because she got to sit next to me. Maybe that's a little bit egotistical, but fuck it. You know what I mean? So anyway, so sitting to my right is Zebra. Now I sit down in my chair, I'm fucking baked, VR headset, heat level. And Zebra looks at me and she's like, "Are you fucking high right now?" And I'm like, yeah. Yeah, yeah. What the fuck was I gonna do? Lie to her? Fuck that. No, no. I'm not gonna lie to Zebra, okay? So I'm like, yeah. And she's like, all right, that's cool. And like at this point, dude, I'm getting progressively and progressively higher. It's not even like I'm out of it now. It's like I'm fucking starting to get paranoid, right? I'm in a class full of people I don't give a fuck about, but like low key do. You know what I mean? And I'm sitting in a fucking room. I'm baked out of my mind, and it's so obvious that Zebra was able to notice. So we're kind of fucked here, right? So I'm starting to get a little bit paranoid, and I'm like, "Yo, Zebra, like you cannot leave me, like like for the remainder of this class, you got to sit next to me." And she's like, "Okay, bet, bet." Bell rings, teacher walks in, wiping off fucking Subway crumbs off of his face and shit. I never liked this teacher. For the sake of the video, we're gonna call this teacher Mr. Beak. Fucking Mr. Beak, man. Mr. Beak was like too educated to be a teacher, okay? Like, motherfucker had his doctorate's degree and was teaching high school. Like, you feel me? Like, he was like just a little bit too educated. Mr. Beak was notorious for going off on rants. I don't think I learned half of the shit I was supposed to learn in that class. Partly was because of my fault, but then partly was because Mr. Beak was the easiest teacher to make him go on rants. Now, let me explain. I was the type of kid that would raise their fucking hand at anything the teacher said, bro. Teacher's doing roll call, Susie Lou, present. I raised my hand, bro. I'm like, yo, what the fuck is she doing at the front of the class? You know what I mean? And then he'd have to answer. And I would get this motherfucker on tangents. I was great at it in history because I'd ask some philosophical ass shit. I'd ask some crazy fucking questions. But like to the point where me and this teacher are in like a conversation slash debate. You know what I mean? And the rest of the class wouldn't learn shit. It was fucking amazing. So this teacher was very good at getting off task because this motherfucker again was super educated. So you'd sit there and you'd talk to him and like he'd be talking about the Civil War And you're like, man, like, what was a general's name, on the fucking union side? And he would name you like 20, their brothers, their sisters, their children, what their children grew up to be. It was like, what the fuck? Like, I didn't ask for that information, but he was like super easy. I'm talking way too much about Mr. Beak. We're going to jump right back in. So, Mr. Beak walks in, wiping Subway crumbs off of his face. He gets up to the front of the class and he's like, okay, guys, for the remainder of the course, or for the class, we're going to sit here and we're going to group read. Now, that's not a problem. I'm fine with group reading. Actually, I'd much prefer it because at least I don't have to raise my hand. You know what I mean? I'm fine with group reading. But Mr. Beak decided to be a bitch today. He went up to the front of the class, went, you're a 1, you're a 2, you're a 3, you're a 4, you're a 1, you're a 2, you're a 3, you're a 4, and just randomly fucking picked our groups. Well, that's a little bit awful when you consider that me and Zebra have a blood pact, okay? Me and Zebra, we're ride or die, man. And now I'm a 3, she's a 4. What the fuck are we supposed to do, okay? So I go to my group of 3s, right? And we're chilling, pop up a seat, and I'm sitting with 2 basic white bitches. My friends and me call them copy and paste because they're all copy and paste. And then I was sitting next to this nerdy girl, okay? She is important to the story. For the sake of this story, we're going to call her fucking Lizard. Yeah, fucking Lizard, okay? Fuck this girl. If you're listening, though, Lizard, I hope you really know that I do have no hate in my heart for you, but we got to continue with the story. So, Lizard's sitting next to me, right? Fucking bug-eyed Lizard. She literally looked like Bubbles, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so sorry. Lizard, if you're hearing this, I'm so sorry, but like, damn, you did. You did. And then sitting to my left is this like now I'm not trying to be political, but it's the kid who wears all the Under Armour shit. We're talking Under Armour hoodie, Under Armour hat, Under Armour shoes, Under Armour sweatpants. You know what I'm talking about, right? We all have them in our schools. The right-leaning person who is just not going to give up on his stance and will fight you on it. So, what a character list. Okay, we're sitting here and he's like, Mr. Beaks like flipped to chapter 7 or some shit. I don't fucking know. We flipped to chapter 7. We start reading. And when I tell you, this was the most boring fucking thing. We all started popcorn reading. It was like fucking every paragraph we switched off or some shit. Well, all of a sudden, fucking one of the basic white bitches looks up at me and with her 2 brain cells and just goes, Menace, are you fucking high? Cover blown. Cover fucking blown. Okay? What the fuck, ladies and gentlemen? Who asked someone that? Who asked someone that in a fucking high school? Are you high? Oh my god. Never wanted to bitch slap a woman so hard. I mean that with the most love and respect. But it also doesn't help because Mr. Beak was fucking like 2 tables away. So that's not fucking good, okay? And now at this point, she's outed me to the whole table. Now, mind you, I could live with Under Armour kid and the 2 basic white bitches. I'm fine with that. But now I got my nerd sitting right next to me, Lizard. And she just looks over at me, sees it, sees my bloodshot eyes, sees my steamy red fucking VR goggles, and she's just like, oh my god. And the way that this fucking girl smiled at me. I mean, like, have you ever seen The Grinch? Oh my god. That evil fucking curly ass smile. She, like, was out to get me. So we're sitting there, we're still reading, and I'm like, at this point, guys, I'm so fucking high. I'm stumbling over my words trying to read. Like, it's that bad. Like, I'm sitting there and I'm just like, fuck, I can't comprehend the words. I'm fucking stuttering. The Civil War. You know what I mean? That shit sucked, bro. So I'm fucking stuttering. Everybody at the table's laughing at me because they all know why I'm stuttering. And I'm like, fuck, man, this is awful. We wrap up, whatever, class ends, and I tell Zebra, I'm like, thank you at least for trying to stick by my side. I'm like, I know it didn't go that way, but, thank you. I really appreciate it. She's like, no problem. We dap up, we leave, right? Go to my next class. Now I'm sitting down. At this point, I've kind of come down a little bit. I'm kind of on the down low as far as the high, right? I'm no longer really paranoid. My last class was over. Really can't get much worse than that. You know what I mean? But then I go to my next class. My next class was English. I thought English was going to be a fucking piece of cake. What do I got to learn about? Commas and fucking periods? Great. Awesome. So sick. So we're sitting down in English, and then it dawns on me. Lizard's in this class. And I turn around, and I look behind me, and when I tell you that Lizard is just dead eyeing me with that same ass Grinch smile, bro, she is just looking at me, ready to snitch. Like I never thought I had so much dirt on me before. Like, bro, I thought I was going to jail. Like, legit. She fucking just was staring me down. And I'm like, bro, it's not that fucking deep, whatever. And I get through my English class, I'm chilling. And thankfully, I never got caught. Thankfully, thank you, Lizard, never fucking ratted on me. I was very appreciative of that. So, Lizard, I hope you're not mad about me calling you Lizard, or Bubbles for that instance. But you know what? Thank you for not ratting on me. That's all I have to say. Thank you all very much for watching the video. I hope you guys really, really enjoyed. If you did, please like and subscribe. And drop a comment down below if you have ever gotten stoned in school. Thank you all very much for watching. Have a great day. Bye.